Guys, I've had this FTX-1 now for just about a week. These are my first impressions of the new radio from Yaesu. Coming up this time on K6UDA Radio. Let's do this. All right, kids. First off, this is not my first rodeo into a portable radio. Started out with the Elecraft KX3, moved on to the Zygu 5105 for a very short period. Then I got the ICOM IC705, loved that radio, completely replaced the KX3. And now we have the Yaesu FTX-1. Now, first off, what I really like about this radio is its ease of portability. Behind me here, Jeep ATAS antenna right there. I tried controlling the ATAS antenna with the 705 and with the KX3 and manually, and it was always just a little bit of a pain in the ass. Went and bought myself a Yaesu 891 because I figured, okay, it controls the ATAS internally. It won't be such a pain in the ass. But alas, that radio is a complete pain in the ass to me because it has the old Yaesu interface where the FTX-1 shares the new interface with the 991A, the FTX-10, the 710, and it is a whole lot better, guys. The look and feel of the Optima side of this radio, I feel like it should have more. This is kind of the yin to the field yang. The back of that radio should be similarly outfitted, more like the 710 or the DX10. It doesn't have but 3 antenna ports and very little on the back end. At the very minimum, it should have USB connectivity to the back of the radio. It should have a keyer input to the back of the radio. Those are just the basic minimums, and it doesn't have it. Speaking of the ports on the back of the Optima, I am a big fan of the 3 antenna ports on the back of the Optima. You have one UHF VHF port, and you've got 2 HF ports. Count them, 2. That's like big boy radio stuff. The 3 display modes of the FTX-1 are nice. They're not perfect. I think they could have done a little bit more with them, but hey, we got what we got. You got the side-by-side display. You have an up and down display, which makes them a little bit bigger. And you also have a single VFO display. And the single VFO, I think, is where most of us are going to spend our time. Now, we get to the part why I'm standing behind my Jeep. The ATAS configuration or the ATAS implementation of this radio is nearly freaking perfect, guys. Nearly freaking perfect. Oh yeah. Let me walk over here. ATAS 120 on my Jeep. This has become standard equipment here on my Jeep Wrangler, and the FTX-1 absolutely freaking shines. Let me explain a little further. Hooking the 705 up to the ATAS in the Jeep required the use of multiple battery sources, or one battery, multiple sources, and a lot of wires. I had the AX17 or a manual tuning element that it had to be brought in to make that thing work. The FTX-1 is a completely different ballgame. I bring in one antenna lead or one power lead to get it up to 10 watts because that's what's needed to run the ATAS. I could put it on the dash right here where you are. I could stick it almost anywhere in here. I have a minimal of wires. It's actually very easy for me to use the supplied microphone to touch up the tuning on the antenna and get the SWR down about as low as you could possibly get it. One of my pet peeves with the 705 has always been the viewing angle. The FTX-1 has fixed that. The 705 sitting flat on a table always begged you to put something under the front of the radio just to prop it up an inch or so, just to get it so you're looking at it straight on. This battery pack on the FTX-1 attached to the FTX-1 field, the whole radio wants to sit at a perfect viewing angle. Brilliant. The speaker of the FTX-1, it's in a little horn and it's kind of underneath the radio, so all the sound gets funneled out right in front to the listener. I think that's also a good idea. Now, without all the extra cages and covers and crap on the field version of this radio, it fits really nicely right inside my little lens case. Now, mind you, that little lens case fits pretty perfectly with the 705 also. That's originally, I bought this for the 705, but then POV, they sent me the cage and it was all downhill from there. This little lens case does not fit the 705 with all the accoutrement. I'm sure that the FTX-1 with all the side cases and all the other crap that you could put on this radio ain't gonna fit in this little case. But for now, this was the perfect travel size. Now we get to the really not so good part of this. And I get it. When the 705 first came out, it wasn't perfect. It needed a few things. Here's what I consider a big issue. Features. Lack of wireless networking. That can be, as we move further and further along into wireless connectivity using iPads and laptops in the field, that becomes more of an issue. When you have features in the radio, Bluetooth, and you make the Bluetooth module an option that, by the way, you can't get the damn thing. When you have APRS and you make the GPS module an option and you can't get the GPS module, that's a problem, Yaesu. I imagine after 6 months or so, all those infrastructure problems are going to get taken care of and you'll be able to call up and get whatever optional modules you want to make the features of this radio work. But for right now, try to order the Yaesu BU6 Bluetooth module. It should have been equipped. It isn't. Same for the FGPS 5. Try to find those anywhere in America. They're back ordered. Oh, you want to put a long wire antenna tuner on your FTX-1? That is $319. And I get it. You can't put a tuner on a field radio. Elecraft figured it out. They did it in the KX3. ICOM didn't do it. Yaesu hasn't done it. But you can get the FC90 or the FC80 antenna tuners for the field version, $319. But you can't get them because they're out of stock. I've seen that it tends to run a hair on the warm side in the field version. The SC1 cooling fan, $54, out of stock. So guys, those are my initial observations of the FTX-1. Hey, this is not my big review of this radio. This is 1 week with this radio. And these are just the few things that I have noticed right off the bat, some of which I really like, some of which I'm not such a big fan of. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more stuff like this, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification. If you've already subscribed, check to make sure that you're subscribed to this, because YouTube, you know, unsubscribes people just because it's me. All right, so I've got big plans for this radio. I've got big plans to bring you head to head with the 705, the KX3, all kinds of stuff. We'll talk about this radio a lot more as I dive in and get more experience with it. Until then, I'm Bob, K6UDA. I'm out of here. 7-3.